You're definitely not bullish enough on Bitcoin. There is so much happening on a global macroeconomic level that we really cannot see what is incoming here. We're going to get $17.7 trillion flown into the Bitcoin asset very shortly. But before we jump into talking about how much Bitcoin that you need to own, I've got a clip from Joe Rogan, the biggest podcaster in the world. You know Joe. So we're going to jump in here and we're going to watch this really quickly. And then we're going to work out how much Bitcoin you need to own to be able to prepare and save yourselves for what's coming in the future. Because it can either be dark and not favorable for you long term, or you can sort yourself out right now. And this opportunity is slipping very quickly, and you can sort out yourself and future generations. Let's watch this clip by Joe Rogan quickly on what he has to say. I'll bring it up full screen for us all.
I mean, the real fascinating crypto is Bitcoin. To me, I mean, that's the one that I think has the most likely possibility of becoming a universal viable currency. And it's, it's limited in the amount that there can be. It's, people mine it with their own computer. It's like, that to me is very fascinating. Yeah. And I love the fact that it's been implemented. And that at least I've had Andreas Antonopoulos on the podcast, and when he talks about it, he's living it. He's spending all of his money. Everything he gets paid is in Bitcoin. He pays his rent in Bitcoin. Everything he does is in Bitcoin.
Cool. So we've got a couple of videos to come back to shortly. If you are watching this on Twitter, jump over to YouTube and say hello there. That is the ultimate place to be watching this, and hit the like button. But we've seen excessive money printing in the last 3 years. The supply of money has gone up astronomically, and we've got a little video about Jerome Powell, and then we're going to talk about a $500,000 Bitcoin and is buying $1,000 of Bitcoin enough. A lot of people ask this, do I have enough Bitcoin? We will dive into that today. So let's watch this video really quickly, and it'll all come together and make sense in a moment.
Fair to say you simply flooded the system with money?
Yes, we did. That's another way to think about it. We did.
Where does it come from? Do you just print it?
We print it digitally. So we as a central bank, we have the ability to create money digitally, and we do that by buying treasury bills or bonds or other government guaranteed securities, and that actually increases the money supply. We also print actual currency, and we distribute that through the Federal Reserve banks.
I love that meme. How crazy is it? Obviously, we know the difference between money and currency, but they're very careful with the wording that they use. I will, let me just get rid of this. So there's a couple of things. We will come back to this. This is in Australia. This is why Bitcoin will win at the end of the day. But let's talk about a $500,000 Bitcoin. And just really quickly, obviously not financial advice. What you need to do is get off zero as soon as possible. And you need to get to 1 Bitcoin as much as humanly possible. Yes, it is a big effort. We can even check out the price today and see how hard this is to be able to obtain. The price today, 27,897. In the last 24 hours, we did have a high 28,103, a low of 27,770. So we're close to the lows. Once it starts moving up and it gets above $32,000, it's going to start rallying very, very quickly. We can see in the last 30 days, the trend now is heading where we want it to do, where we want it to go. Once we get above that 32,000, which in my opinion, and take that for a grain of salt, it's going to happen before the end of the year. Before Christmas, we're going to get above 32,000. It is going to go up into the halving, probably come back down then before we're off to the races. But why does that matter? Why am I bringing up this chart? Bitcoin is at 27,700 whatever dollars today. 27,897. Your time to be able to get one is running out shortly. You are going to be priced out. Most people watching this are going to get priced out very shortly in the next couple of months, probably this year, maybe maybe, just maybe, you've got until the halving to be able to stack up. Otherwise, it's going to cost so much. The average person is not earning 6 figures a year. And even if you are, it's a big stretch to be able to get there. But why is it so important to be able to get one Bitcoin? We'll talk about that, but let's talk about a price target of $500,000. It implies a total Bitcoin market cap of $10.5 trillion. That seems like a huge amount of money. I'll just bring up CoinGecko again, and the reason why is because it brings up the whole Bitcoin and cryptocurrency market cap. We can see it's combined with the 20,000 other despicable coins. I've done really well with not swearing today. We're only at 1.13 trillion. And Bitcoin's market cap is $500 billion there. To be able to get to a $500,000 Bitcoin, it implies a market cap of $10.5 trillion. That's a 20x from here. So my math in the morning, my phone is in use. If someone in the comments there is can work out, well, 500,000, it's going to be closer to 600,000 with today's price there, 27,000. That works out to a $500,000 coin. A 20x. So if you get in now, for every $1,000, is $1,000 enough? For every $1,000 you put in, if you can hold it long enough, you're looking for every 1,000, turning that into 20,000. And what time frame? Do we get $500,000 this cycle coming up after the halving, April 26, 2024? Potentially not. Although with BlackRock coming in, they're about to unleash $17.7 trillion. And Bitcoin's profits, it moves at the margin. So we can have these big buyers come in the last couple of months, in the last 3 months, there's someone that bought up to $3 billion of Bitcoin and the price didn't move all that much at all. And no one even really understood that these big players are jumping in, they are getting ready to be able to set it off. And what will happen is once there's no Bitcoin left on the exchanges, which is dwindling very, very quickly, we're going to see that price jump up. We're going to start seeing $10,000 a day appreciation as well. So is $1,000 enough to be able to set yourself up? That's surely going to change your life. And depending where you are, if you turn $1,000 into 20,000, let's just take a step back. If you, for every $100, that's 2,000 on a long enough time frame. And that's only at a $500,000 Bitcoin price target. Bitcoin, sooner or later, will be $1 million per coin. It's really not that far away. Once Bitcoin, and that's what we need. You'll see this video with British Hodl coming out in 2 days' time. He talks about the rich people will only really get excited about Bitcoin once we get to $1 million per coin, because then it becomes part of that dick swinging contest. Anyway, we dive deeper into $1 million price target with that one. What 100 Air is saying is, for perspective, the market cap of gold is only around 12 trillion as well. And that's the point here, ladies and gentlemen. To get to $10.5 trillion, it's really nothing. Bitcoin is superior to gold in every single way. It's scarcer. It's verifiable. You actually know where the Bitcoin is, that there is only ever going to be 21 million. We can see the issuance, the inflation schedule of Bitcoin after the halving, April 26, 2024, drops down. The inflation rate of Bitcoin is lower than what gold is as well. Digitally scarce is never going to be any more than 21 million. There's so much gold just floating around in the ocean. At the right price, they will be able to take that out, or they'll be able to dive deeper, or people talk about mining asteroids. Whatever, we don't need to go down that rabbit hole. The point is Bitcoin is verifiably scarce, it's faster, and it's digital. We live in a digital age. We're watching this on a computer. You're probably on your smartphone here. And to be able to communicate all around the world is a massive, massive deal. And we need our money to be able to keep up with that. We also need the money outside of state control. That does get us a little bit caught up on the BlackRock ETF. That will be a payment rail for a couple of people to be able to get in there. Obviously, if you're here now, buy the real thing. Hold it on a wallet. Put it on Steels, Seedor. There's links below for that. All these links that are showing up below, I have interviewed or talked to these people, and there are videos, and I've reached out to be able to get you a discount. Some of them are affiliate links, will support the channel. Others are just discount links for you guys there. So whether you use my link or not, those companies do check out. Anyway, in regards to that, let's get back in. This is a little bit of fun, and then we'll get serious, but this is... I'll get rid of it. It's pretty cool. Comes over. I won't play any music. I don't know what type of rodent creature this thing is. Can somebody let me know in the comments if you know what it is? So he gives it a little bite, and then look how friendly, your best friend. The reason why I bring that up is when you orange pill someone, and this is why we started off with Joe Rogan this morning, when people finally get Bitcoin, they get Bitcoin. 100 Air, it would be monumental if Rogan gets all in orange pilled. Just a matter of time, he will jump on that. Probably even this cycle as well, that is going to happen. Is it a beaver? Maybe it is a beaver. We don't have beavers in Australia, so I don't really know. It's a freaking cool looking creature. Maybe it is a beaver. It's unbelievable. But in regards to mass adoption, once people start understanding it and the CBDCs and the narrative that's going to be surrounded by that, and people are watching Joe Rogan, and he just starts slowly talking about it more and more, $500,000 Bitcoin is going to happen very, very quickly. Does it happen this cycle? Maybe, maybe not. It's possible. Is it probable? At this stage, it's not. But I would not mark it out. Good morning, hash rate, go brewer. So the hash rate has increased exponentially in just the last couple of days since we went live last. We're doing blocks now at 9 minutes and 31 seconds. So we will have the difficulty adjustment will go up 5.15% at the moment. I had a friend send me a photo in Australia of just racks and racks and racks and racks of mining equipment and a server farm. There, it is pretty insane even just what they put online in the last week, and it's going to keep going up, going into the halving. People are getting redder. Go for maybe. Anyone fact check it, leave a comment, and I appreciate everyone in the comments. Make sure you do hit like, subscribe, share the video. That helps us out to be able to get the Bitcoin bat signal out clearly. Let's have a look at the numbers, and then let's dive into the details. 9:40 a.m. I had to go for a big walk today and get that movement in as nice. It was the longest walk I've managed in 2 weeks, which was fantastic. Go out there, stretch. Block height, 811,287. What I want to draw your attention to is just over here on the right side of your screen, the mempool, the depth, 71 blocks. And unconfirmed transactions, 27,757. So it is going to cost you a little bit more to be able to get something to settle instantly. Well, instantly within, 1 to 2 blocks as well. Just be aware of that. You may pay a little bit more on fees. It is what it is. Actually, I see this as a good thing here, not a bad thing. Someone correct me if I am wrong. It means there is a lot of activity happening on the network. We've gone through the price here. You can see everything is down slightly. It is what it is. Short term, use the red days to buy. These are your best opportunities, and they're running out so fast. Look at this. And mark my words, Bitcoin 27,925. If it goes down to 25,000, buy more. If it, people are waiting for 15,000, for 20,000, for 25,000, and say it hits those numbers, 25,000, they don't buy it at 25,000. I'm going to wait for 20,000. Just buy as much as possible, stack, and then just chill. Relax with it. Is so important that you get as much Bitcoin now for you, your family, your friends. If you can't stack one Bitcoin now, between now and the halving, I understand that's very privileged, but do everything you can. Believe it's possible and be relentless. Because once this halving happens, that opportunity, it's gone forever. Once that happens, And why is it so important that we have this? We'll get into it. And pretty good, that video that I showed you really briefly. Do I still have it up here? Oh no, hopefully I didn't close it down with what's happening in Australia. Maybe I did. Oh well. No, here it is here. So this video, this shows why Bitcoin's so important. This is the Australian Prime Minister. Now, our superannuation is our retirement account. It's what everyone works their entire lives for. They slave away for bullshit money and bullshit pay for their superannuation to be able to increase in value. And this pot of funds was never meant to be touched. It was there. It was forced retirement savings. And now they want to jump in there. They want to use the money for the elderly, they want to use it for military. They've come out, that $3.7 trillion. They want to use that to be able to pay for military. So you've got an opportunity now with self-managed super funds. Reach out to the Bitcoin advisor. Hey, they're up there right now. Talk to them. It's a free call if you need to be able to move your superannuation or your pension into Bitcoin. You're running out of time because once they bring in this that we're going to dive into, it's game over. You can work your whole life, have 300,000, 500,000, 1.5, $2 million in there. And they're like, no, sorry, we're just going to give you a pension. You've worked so hard, but we've changed the rules on you. We forced you to put that money in there. Opt out, ladies and gentlemen. And this is crazy. Listen to what they have to say. What a great journalist here.
About what you did say before the election. This was in May of last year. This is what you said then.
We've said we have no intention of making any super changes. One of the things that we're doing in this campaign is we're making all of our policies clear.
That's not just big changes, not just major changes, just you said there won't be any changes.
No, I said we had no intention, and we certainly...
We had no intention. This is the propaganda, the lies. This person runs the bloody country.
That's not the objective here, but people are coming forward with ideas. We're not shutting down debate.
Prime Minister, I'm just going to push you on this a little more, though, because it seems like you're playing slightly with the language and saying no major changes, we're allowing a debate. But that debate is being driven by your own ministers, including the Treasurer. You wouldn't be having this conversation unless you were thinking seriously about it. And I wonder...
They wouldn't be having this conversation if the money wasn't broken, ladies and gentlemen. The money is not worthless. It's worth nothing. Absolutely. If you compare it to Bitcoin over time, we talk about hyperinflation in Lebanon, everywhere around the world, and you don't think it's going to come to your country. Mathematically, it's certain, ladies and gentlemen. Let's keep listening to what... Sorry, I've gotten riled up. I've managed not to swear.
Really a question of integrity for you, given that you campaigned so hard on being integrous.
He campaigned on being integral, and we will not change this. We have no intention of changing it. They had no intention there. I think that was a lie as well. They just tell people what they want to hear. And I'm not here to do that. I don't care if you want to hear it or not. You absolutely need to get to 1 Bitcoin and do everything you can. There's 3 easy steps. You stack, you believe it's possible, and you be relentless. Anyway, let's listen to the rest of this. My apologies, I will calm down in 2 secs.
Hamish, a whole range of bodies, including the Grattan Institute and others, have put out various ideas in this debate. They're the ones that are out there on the debate. We've had no changes. We're not here announcing changes.
Today I'm announcing that earnings on super balances above $3 million will have a concessional rate of 30% rather than 15%.
Absolutely disgusting. Anyway, we're going to move on from that. I just wanted to draw your attention there because that is what is happening here in Australia. You don't think it's going to happen to your country? It will. Last year, the UK pension system was literally hours away from total collapse, and they had to bail that out. Buy Bitcoin. Opt out. Do you have enough Bitcoin? We never. have enough, but you just want to be able to get as much as possible. So a couple of articles that I want to read through. First, if you can, hit the like button. That would be greatly appreciated. Get this out to as many people as possible. If you haven't already subscribed, for those that have, thank you. Cheers, mate. And g'day from Australia. Let us know where you are in the world. So the US dollar collapse shocks 8 trillion predicted Fed inflation flip to spark a critical Bitcoin. I left them out, Ethereum and XRP and crypto price boom, because we don't care in regards to Ethereum, XRP, and crypto. Please realize Bitcoin's the only one that matters. Absolutely none of the rest do. If you want to gamble, have fun, play with it, whatever. But it's a casino and there's no value. And even JP Morgan is disappointed in Ethereum, and they are the biggest holders, or not the biggest, but one of the biggest holders. Shout out to everyone in the chat, Baseline Benny. Melbourne, rocking it. What's the weather like? It's never nice in Melbourne. Let us know. It'd be surprising if it's a beautiful day. Even as a BlackRock insider primes the market for a $17.7 trillion earthquake, now as the Federal Reserve grapples with a $33 trillion US debt death spiral, Jefferies analysts have warned the Fed will be forced to restart its money printer, potentially collapsing the US dollar and fueling the Bitcoin price boom to rival gold. They will start up the money printer, absolutely. It's just a matter of time. Get ready for it. When that happens, it is going to be absolutely to the moon. And if they start up the money printer around the time of the halving, then that's how we get $500,000 per Bitcoin this cycle. If they started up before the halving, your chances to get one Bitcoin are gone. So act accordingly, ladies and gentlemen. Not the greatest, typical overcast Melbourne day. That's what it's like. It's actually overcast here. Went for a walk and it started raining. It was beautiful. Actually, this morning it was wet, it was windy, it was cold. I was walking along the beach. No shirt, no shoes, and absolutely fantastic, but it's not as cold, the rain up here. Anyway, G7 central banks include, most importantly, the Federal Reserve, will not be able to exit from unconventional monetary policy in a benign manner and will ultimately remain committed to ongoing central bank balance sheet expansion in one form or another. As well as reducing its balance sheet, the Fed has been hiking interest rates at a historic clip as it struggles to bring soaring inflation under control, creating what some fear could become a counterintuitive death spiral for the US dollar that ultimately pushes up the Bitcoin price. It's pretty scary, the levels of inflation that actually exist out there. I will be traveling to the US next week. I will be making and just talking to people about Bitcoin and what they think, the everyday person in regards to Bitcoin out in the street. We'll be going to Richmond, home of Anthony Oliver, or Oliver Anthony. My apologies if I've mixed that up either way. I'll say both to. Hopefully I got one of them right. But then I'll be going to Washington, D.C. as well, home of the rich men and women that are controlling the world. It's not just the US economy that's affected. It's everyone around the world. Obviously, we've got Bitcoin. We have hope, but it's pretty crazy. What's your price prediction for one Bitcoin next time this year, mate? I truly stay away from price predictions because nobody, I'm not going to swear, nobody has any fill in the blank idea at all what the price will be. Definitely going to be higher than what it is now. What we have seen in the past is, and history doesn't always repeat, but often it rhymes, ladies and gentlemen. We see 12 to 18 months after the Bitcoin halving, we see that blow off top. Where is that going to be? It depends when they start up the money printer, when the spot Bitcoin ETF is approved, depending on where that happens in this time cycle, and if they approve the spot Bitcoin ETF at the same time that the money printer has been switched on and straight after the halving, that price this time next year, leading into Christmas, obviously October as well. I think it's irresponsible to be able to give out like a definite it's going to be here and do that. Is it likely that we see a new all-time high. If we pass 69,000, I would say that would be absolutely fair. Where do we go within the next 12 to 18 months after the halving? Doesn't matter. One Bitcoin's one Bitcoin. And we just want to be able to get as much as possible. If you have overinvested in it and then you need these fiat gains, I understand that we are looking for these price predictions and stuff. But say anywhere between, let's not say this time next year, but this cycle, somewhere between $1 and $250,000. I know that's a huge range, but once we break above $100,000, we're going to see $10,000 days very, very, very quickly. So in my mind, say everyone starts talking about a $250,000 Bitcoin price. Well, I'd rather curb my expectations here a little bit and be like, okay, that's fine. $250,000. Let's bring some money off that. So let's think about like $175,000 if I was to cash back out into dirty fiat. $175,000. If that's where I expect it to go, then I want to curb my expectations even more, and I'd bring that down to somewhere between 120 and 150. And if you wanted to ladder out, you think it's going to 250,000, 175,000 would probably be more likely to play it on the safe side. Then you start laddering out at 120, 150,000, or find out what numbers work for you if you need to be able to get that dirty fiat. Otherwise, just hold it and wait for whatever price target it is that you have in mind, because everyone has a price to be able to sell it. If you can buy one Bitcoin now for 27,000, say under 30,000, and it goes to 300,000, that's your house paid off for. So, like, everyone needs shelter. And once you've paid for your house, then you don't need to work a dirty fiat mining job. Everyone has their price, and not everyone's going to hold forever, and you don't need to either. That's my thoughts, and I know I didn't really say anything. I talked around it. I think it's irresponsible, but find the number that works best for you, and then just stack and chill. Right now, we're not, and we'll get a better idea after the halving of where the price is going to go. But just find out what numbers work for you. But we're not there yet. Right now, we just need to buy as much as possible. And you want to buy some Bitcoin that you're never, ever, ever going to sell. You want to hold them for your kids' kids. That's the mentality you need to have long term. Short term, Bitcoin is going to go up and make extraordinary gains this cycle. If you need to get a bit of cash out, to pay off the mortgage, go for it. Absolutely go for it. What's my selling price? There's a couple. That's a really good question here. What is my selling price? I would sell potentially, like my selling price, like 10% of the bag's $250,000 per coin. 5% of the bag, maybe a little bit under there, but I don't think about selling it. All I think about, I'll show you what I think about, is when it's red, I need to buy more. And I need to buy more today. Like every day it's red, I just need to buy more and more and more and more. And it's greedy, but it's the hardest asset in the entire world. I don't need dirty fiat. They just print it. What I need is to turn that fiat into the world's hardest asset. But when am I going to sell some? 250,000, sell 10% of the bag there. So that's a fair question. 5%, so like 50% of that 10%, do I sell a little bit before? Potentially, and that would be $175,000 USD per coin. And then the other 90%, that just gets held. And we may look at it again the next cycle. But once it's gone, like we're never going to get it back after this cycle. That's my belief. People are being priced out so quickly in regards to that. Can't watch an Aussie and not hear some swearing. Come on, man. It's 1 a.m. here. Been up all day for this. Dan of Steel, I've been so good, mate. I've been so good. This will be the first stream in 2.5 weeks since I've hurt my back where I've managed not to swear, to be able to cuss. Come back tomorrow and I'll probably throw in an F or an S bomb for sure. Couple of comments I want to get through and then we'll jump in there. Dan Steele, that made me laugh. What a guy. Fair enough. In my opinion, we'll reach new all-time high next year. What's your selling price, Sean? We went through that. Fiat will eventually go to zero. All fiat in history have. Bitcoin is pure energy, as energy cannot be created or destroyed. It stands to reason it's the better bet. 100%. Do you care about buying KYC free? I actually don't care about it. And I use KYC exchanges. I actually use the Amber app to be able to buy my Bitcoin now. I was using, I'm ashamed to say it. I am ashamed to say it. CoinSpot is sort of like the Binance in Australia, or not even the Binance, more like the like Coinbase here. I was using that for such a long time. There, Amber app, Bitcoin only exchange. So that's where I buy it now, and that's where I'll continue to buy it for. And when you have proper structures set up in place, it's fine. And put in cold storage. It's easy as. And so no, I have absolutely no problem buying it KYC free. If you're, say for example, you had a whole lot of cash, then do peer-to-peer and have a bit of a stack or whatever. But if you're to withdraw that money and say you're to withdraw $10,000, for example, out of your bank account, they're going to flag that, or 9,999. So you try avoid that flag, and they're still going to flag it. And then you've got a whole lot of extra cash in like 5 or 10 years time because you bought Bitcoin now and then you sold it later, and then you've got cash and then they audit you or whatever. Is that worth the risk of you going to jail? Just do legally what you need to do. If you need help setting up the structures there, in the description below, it's a free call. Talk to the Bitcoin advisor. They can talk to you about inheritance planning, putting it to trust, things like that. They definitely the way to go in regards to it. So no, I don't care about buying KYC free. There are apps like HODL HODL if you want to. But yeah, the Bitcoin advisor, Bitcoin advice, protection, collaborative custody options or whatever. Not everything is for everyone, but if you need some advice to be able to protect your Bitcoin stack, jump in there and do that. Now, such great questions, ladies and gentlemen. You're all legends. A new creature. What a name. I love that. Click the like, boys. Yeah. So we've gotten through that one. Going to Washington, DC next week. I can't wait to just talk to the everyday person and ask if they understand how large the US national debt is and what that means for them. I wonder if we see $34 trillion next week. Probably fairly likely. The debt per taxpayer, $258,257. What amazes me the most is the unfunded liabilities here. $194 trillion. So Medicare, Social Security, the liability per citizen's $578,000 there. I wonder if the average person knows this. And if anyone has any good questions where you think I should ask the everyday person, I've got a list of 15 at the moment, but hit me up on Twitter at Sean Clarke 911, SeanClarke 911, and send us a tweet or a DM and say hello. If you have questions to ask the everyday person, would be helpful, and I look forward to asking these people. It will be a fun little movie that I'll put together while we are there on holiday. So Bitcoin enters quite. Oh, and if anyone real quickly knows anyone at Virginia Beach, Virginia, that wants to spend like 4 hours with me on that day to be able to talk to people and orange pill them, hand out these books, signed copies of the book, please reach out to me on Twitter. If anyone knows anyone in Virginia, that would be absolutely so helpful and greatly appreciated. So Bitcoin enters quiet bull market as safe haven from the bond market turmoil. Couple of things here that we need to get through. In the absence of new capital flown into digital assets, I believe that this is what the rally will be short-lived. And this article is a couple of days old. What they're talking about is the rally that we have seen over the last couple of days, trying to get up above 30,000, even just above 28,000. It's not happening until we get new capital. Once we do get new capital in here, then Glover expects a more durable appreciation will materialize later this year and early next year as Bitcoin appears to be finished with its corrective move, which is fantastic. I do believe that Bitcoin price will be higher in 3 months than they are today, as technically we've completed the sell-off and I now look for a sustained rally in Q2 2024. Obviously, that aligns with the Bitcoin halving there. Be very interesting in regards to how much money they start printing coming up to the presidential elections as well. They are going to want the economy to look good. I dare say interest rates are going to start to fall dramatically as well. It's about time that happens. So Bitcoin's future looks good, especially when you compare them to the crisis in the bond market, which is happening now, a bit of a meltdown there. It's crazy. Bonds, that 60-40 portfolio that people had for so long is no longer safe. It was the safest investment in the entire world, and game over for that. And then here in Australia, super, like the safest way to save for your retirement, no longer. Like the only option really now is Bitcoin. If you don't understand it, please start with B is for Bitcoin. We've got A New Creature saying that's a great book. It's an incredible book. I've given away so many. Yeah, like I've got all these here. There's 4, whichever camera we're looking at. I've got another 6 upstairs. There's one behind me here. The amount that I've given away on this channel, it is the go-to. If your friends and family don't understand Bitcoin, B is for Bitcoin. Once you do, read the Bitcoin Standard. That is your job. If you are here in the chat and you haven't read the Bitcoin Standard, there's no words. Please read it. Absolutely read it. It is the #1 book that you have to understand. Yes, it's a little bit thick. I understand it, but it's imperative that you do. If you're here now and you don't own 1 Bitcoin, please start with B is for Bitcoin and then move on to the Bitcoin Standard. Now, sorry, I got a bit heated. You need to learn to read, ladies and gentlemen, as much as possible to be able to get information and to be able to disseminate that information from people, to be able to take it in, reflect on it, and what's that mean, and then act accordingly. So he pointed out that Bitcoin has beaten the US stock market at a time when surging bond yields wreak havoc on traditional markets. When interest rates peak and the bond sell-off ends, Bitcoin will be off to the races. How good is it when your back cracks? Morris noted that during Bitcoin's latest corrective move, the crypto held above the key. Bitcoin ain't crypto, ladies and gentlemen. Bitcoin is Bitcoin. What's the difference? Everything else is, without swearing, it's all rubbish. Anyway, the Bitcoin held above the key 25,000K level, which capped the price between May 22 and March 23. If we can hold the 25,000 level, which we probably will, Bitcoin is very much in a bull market, albeit a quiet one. So it is very important to understand that your time is running out very, very quickly. Ken saying, love the book, to Orange Pill the Family. It is the best way to do it. Stream it on Audible because I'm lazy. Whether you Audible, I love audio books, and with the right book and the right narrator, like sometimes we're busy. If you're mining fiat and you've got time to be able to listen to it, listen to it. That's good, but you need to get the information in from all these awesome authors. It's a big book. If you're too lazy to read it, but you've got the time to listen, that's another good option as well. Appreciate everyone in the chat. If you can do us a huge favor, stack 1 Bitcoin as quickly as possible. Tell your friends, your family to be able to get to 1 Bitcoin as well. And even if you don't get there, get as close as you can with the circumstances in your life, and your future self will thank you. If you're just jumping into Bitcoin now, start building your conviction with Beers for Bitcoin, then move on to Bitcoin, the Bitcoin Standard, read all the Safe Dean's books, and then go on to thicker books like Broken Money by Lynn Alden. Maybe that book is a good listen. I just sit there and read it page by page slowly at night. Anyway, what do you use to run your node? What do you think of the Umbral Home? Umbral's absolutely beautiful, very clean as well. On this channel in about 4 weeks, I will be building an Umbral node as well. So that's probably the best way. The best way to get Bitcoin adoption is to make it sexy or cool. That's all most people care about. Am I not making it sexy or cool? Anyway, let's see. I jump on here and I'm happy to have a little bit of fun, a little bit of banter back and forth. Because once you stack Bitcoin and you hold it in self-custody, it's secure, and you've put things in place to be able to protect yourself, life is very easy. It doesn't need to be as serious as what we make it out to be. Hey, little Luna, I've got the cutest little dog. Here, just give me 2 secs. Hey, sweetie. Isn't she a darling? It's my little sweetie here. I'll put her on the desk. Still not in the best place to be able to lift up and down. Good girl. So she's hanging out here. But that's probably the best option, ladies and gentlemen. Just buy as much Bitcoin as you possibly can. A lot of electricity to run a node 24 hours a day. Not at all. They use so little energy. But we'll do a whole episode on running a node there. I do have a video with Piers from MineRack. If you jump in there, it says effing expensive on the thumbnail. It's probably about 3 videos down. And he talks a bit more about nodes in that video and building one like towards the end of that video. That's probably a good one there. Anyway, she is a very precious dog. Have a very beautiful day. Just stack 1 Bitcoin. Make your friends and family understand that this is important to be able to have in their lives now. Beers for Bitcoin's probably the best place. It's great orange pill for friends and family. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, it's been a pleasure. Hit subscribe if we vibe. Be blessed. Peace.